Welcome to Higginsanity. I'm your host, Jason Higgins.
I'm your co-host Dan Slap. Looking forward to this podcast because we're gonna kind of talk about some superheroes and villains.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about some of our favorite superheroes, some of our favorite villains, what makes a superhero, what makes a villain, some of our likes and dislikes about some of the different ones. So it's going to be very interesting.
Indeed. I can't wait to see how where our superheroes and villains come from. Because
Exactly.
we don't like to talk about what we're going to talk about on the cast beforehand, so it's all natural and surprise to each other on where we go with what. So
Exactly. And so Dan, in your mind, what makes up a superhero to you?
so to me, a superhero is someone who A has something to lose, and B isn't invincible, and C has some, not necessarily a super power, but an ability to make themselves superior to the standard person.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay. I would say a superhero is obviously somebody who saves the day. Whether it means saving the world, saving a person, saving a life, or I would say, a superhero is something that can also just like change the aspect of everything, of how you think, how you look at things. But obviously, a superhero, people think of if you can fly, if you have different type of superpowers, like if you can run fast, if you have super strength, you can do all those different things. But I think every superhero has their own different quality. But I'm interested to see all the different things about it.
Yeah,
But obviously, with
I get that.
a villain, we obviously know what makes a villain. Somebody who wants to do everything in his or her power to destroy everything, to destroy you, to destroy a person, to destroy a community. Hell, like for example, Joker, dude. I don't think in reality, I don't think the Joker just has one cause. I think he just likes to
He
cause total mayhem for everybody.
when it comes to the Joker, I completely agree. He's just out to kind of fuck shit up, right? He's
Exactly.
like his enjoyment is to just make everybody else's lives miserable, right?
Exactly.
But I don't think that's every villain because I
True.
think some villains, in a way, don't even realize they are a villain. For instance, like take Thanos from the Marvel universe. He thinks he's doing right by purging the universe of people, or like getting rid of half the. His whole goal was to get rid of half the population of Earth
Mm-hmm.
because we've messed ourselves up so much. So, like in his mind, he's like doing the right thing. So that can also be like a characteristic of a villain is they're so messed up in the head, or they're so devoted to one goal or religion or cult or thought process that they become a villain. And I'm not going to dwell on it, but like Darth Vader is a perfect example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jedi good turned bad. Now his mind is so twisted. He's the most glorified villain there is.
Exactly. So let me get your opinion on this. So say the villain is a villain for 90% of the time, and then he
Mm-hmm.
changes. He does something good. He becomes the good guy. Does he then become a good guy, or does he still is he still labeled as a villain? Like I'm talking about, like in a movie or TV show where they're the
Yeah,
villain the whole time, and then boom.
I think he or she is still considered in my opinion, they're still considered a villain, but
Mm-hmm.
they can be forgiven.
Okay.
So like like obviously you're gonna remember their past transgressions and everything they did, but there's a point where they're like, oh, in the end, like he saved whatever city or she saved this planet, or in the end, like we were at dire straits and they came through at the end. So yes, they saved us, but at the same time, it's like, well, they're still a villain for 90% of the time. So like,
Okay,
It's kind of
so
just like a redeemer story, but like you don't forget the past, but you can be like, all right, well, in the end, they turned out to be good.
exactly. So, for example, Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
Harley Quinn is a villain in certain circumstances, and then she's a superhero in a way in certain circumstances. So,
yeah.
what do you think in Harley Quinn? Is she more on the spectrum of villain, or is she more on the spectrum in your eyes? Can she be a superhero?
I think she's more on the spectrum of just she likes to just cause mayhem. Like
Yeah,
in the moment, whatever like is the best opportunity for her, she'll choose to be a superhero. And then if it's like, well, it's more fun to be the villain here, I'll just do that because that sounds more fun, more interesting. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'll run down a couple superheroes in my mind that I like. That I would say probably a couple of my favorite superheroes probably growing up would be Batman and Spider-Man.
Okay.
Both of them, um, neither one are invincible, obviously.
Hmm.
I feel like both of them have some of the toughest villains to go against.
Yeah.
Um, both of them, like I think of Peter Parker from the very first, just as he was walking up into the wrestling ring, and
Are you
how,
talking the Tobey Maguire
yeah, Tobey Maguire,
Spider-Man? Where?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that cracks me up. Just like the how the first like costume looked
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Um, but it's crazy how both of them what they had went through, what they had lost, and things of that nature, and how they kind of became about and how they became
Right.
their
Right.
superhero. I think is fascinating. It
They
has a
they
great
both had
story.
a vast coming of age story.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And they have the coolest costumes now. I think some of it, like especially a Spider-Man, I would love to like be able to shoot webs and be able to like
Oh
go
yeah.
from
Yeah.
building to building. Even though like I'm afraid of heights besides roller coasters, I'm a roller coaster junkie because I'm strapped in and I love roller
Well, if you
coasters.
were got bit by ready to expire though, then you'd be fine because you'd be used to
Okay,
being up
okay,
high. You
okay.
know, you're good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That fear would go. You know, you'll be fine.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah. I will agree 100% with Spider-Man. He's always been one of my favorite. As I got older, and I kind of have fallen into Iron Man,
Okay.
which I know some people are like, he's not a superhero, he's just rich. But I feel like if I was that smart and that rich, I would act a lot like Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
So like as I've gotten older, I'm like, kind of feel like that would just be a badass character, like endless money, keep creating new suits, new technology. I mean, obviously it's a superhero show, so some of it's ridiculous, but I'm just like, I feel like I relate to that character in his real life,
Mm-hmm.
not as Iron Man, more so, and then like as the Avengers and that Marvel, the
Yep.
MCU goes, be like, yeah, I'd probably be like him a lot.
And
So, but Spider-Man has always been one of my longtime favorites.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, and so this is gonna be interesting because well, I'll just get it out of the way. Superman's my least favorite superhero. Doesn't take
Understandable.
anything to be invincible and not die unless someone brings a little tiny rock from outer space.
And
But
glasses just don't hide your identity, by the way.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um,
Woo!
so I consider him, I don't know, a superhero, but maybe a hero, is Wolverine.
Okay,
Like
okay.
from childhood, he's been my favorite X-Man, one of my favorite heroes of all time. I mean, it starts with the claws, obviously, because like you're a little kid, and that's awesome. But see what the difference between him and Superman is, he feels everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see in the movies, he's like, someone asks him, does it hurt? And he rubs his knuckle and he goes, every time. So like he feels the pain, even though he, can regen and still survive, but he
Yeah.
feels everything. So like to me, that even takes maybe more be like, yeah, I'm gonna come back, but I'm gonna go to hell first. Like it's like hell and back every time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
So,
he's like my all-time favorite
so
is
that,
Wolverine.
so the fact that you mentioned that, here's something that you made. So, Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Superhero or
Oh,
villain?
that's a good one. I would say he would fall in the category of like a dark superhero. Like
Fall under that like
he he
Batman
he
type,
he gets the job done, but it's always like on the edge of, are you doing the right thing or not?
like
You know?
Deadpool, Batman type.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cause I like Deadpool. I like Deadpool, like the
Well, I mean, how
humor.
can
You
you not
can't.
like
You can't.
Deadpool? The merc with the mouth. I mean, come on.
Exactly, exactly. And
That's the, if you were a hero villain, you would be like him. You would never shut up. You would,
Deadpool. I would
yeah,
love to be Deadpool. Honestly, I might go as Deadpool for next Halloween. You catch me out
yeah.
on the streets as Deadpool. So, okay, so give me from your from five to one. Okay, no,
Okay.
your DC
Oh, DC.
least
Okay.
favorite to favorite.
Are we going villains, heroes?
I'm
What
talking
are we
about
going?
heroes like between Aquaman, Superman, Batman, Flash, and the Green Lantern.
Um, that is a good one. Well, I mean, Superman's five. He's the worst, right? You're going 5-1.
Mm-hmm. So, so you want to take Aquaman and the Green Lantern before Superman, is what you're saying?
Are you talking like who I would want on my
No,
team
like
or like?
favorite, just like who you like your favorite, like
Oh
what?
yes,
Yeah,
Superman's bottom of the
yeah,
barrel.
yeah.
Then I'd probably go Green Lantern.
Okay, okay.
Um, then probably Aquaman.
Okay.
Can I want to put Wonder Woman at 2,
Oh yeah, I forgot about Wonder Woman.
and
Yeah,
then
that would.
probably Batman would
Okay.
be my top. Yeah, that would probably be how I rank them.
Okay. So
And I'm
I.
not as familiar with DC as I am with Marvel, so I'm sure there's
Okay.
some people out there who are like, how did you forget about this
Yeah.
person? But
So
whatever,
I
deal
would.
with it.
Yeah, I would go. I would go number 5 would be Aquaman.
Okay.
Number 4 would be Green Lantern. Number 3 would be Flash. The Flash.
Okay. Yeah. Flat. Ooh, see, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
forgot about the Flash. He's a badass.
Um, Number 2 would be Wonder Woman. And number 1 would be Batman, but who I'm thinking of this I hope people don't get mad at me asking this question. What would you lay who the Green Arrow? The Arrow. Is he DC?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. Okay. But I would
Oh.
still say Batman and Wonder Woman and Flash would still be my top 3. One to have super
See,
fast speed.
see, that's the thing. I forgot about the Flash. I'd put
Yeah.
him in there. So what
Yeah.
I said Superman, Green Lantern.
I think of the episode with Sheldon Cooper when he.
What
I'm
about
gonna scream in frustration.
what about uh yeah, Green Arrow is part of DC.
Okay.
Um what about, see, you got me thinking, is Daredevil and the Punisher part of DC?
I would think so.
Because then I would like Superman wouldn't be on my top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't even have. I don't think I had Superman in my top 5. I don't.
Well, I did just because that's who you said, but
See,
like if I'm building like,
let me ask this real quick. Does Superman get the same rep just because he's like that original, like that superhero, like people think of, like he's invincible, but he has that one defect, like
yeah.
the kryptonite. He can fly. He has super strength. He can do all
Here's
that.
the thing. It also depends on like if you're thinking about it as like if you want to build a team, even though Superman's invincible, I wouldn't want him on my team because he's not like, he's too stoic. Like if you need to get some shit done, he's not gonna be able to do it because he's like, I can't because I have morals.
Okay.
So like now I'm thinking of
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm thinking. Is he like the
now I'm thinking like if
original?
I'm building a team, I might want to have like Daredevil, the Punisher, like Wonder Woman and the Flash and like Batman because they're a little like darker and they're gonna like
No.
be able to get stuff done if you need it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I didn't know because like I'll just be honest, like if you look at the Avengers, no one's like you got people that love Captain America, but no one's out there saying Captain America is my favorite, superhero.
Right.
Is that the
He's
same
too
way with
righteous.
is that the same way with Superman because that's
I
like
think
the
so.
original. That's like the
Yeah, I think
original
so.
cuz
And
everybody's like
they're
Iron
and they're
Man.
like they're like a parallel in
Yes.
DC and Marvel. And
Yeah.
that's why like Iron Man and Captain America don't get along because Iron Man's like, no, we just need to do what needs done. Like we need to do
Yeah.
this and get it done. And, like if we piss some people off, we piss some people off, and Captain America's like, no, we need to do it the right way, the moral way, the blah blah.
Exactly. Like it's like you want to
So
like the good guy, but you like want them to like
yeah,
once in a while like hey, you need to do
yeah,
something different.
yep,
But that's why I kind of feel like that's how it is like Captain America, Superman.
mm-hmm,
Um,
yeah, I get that, I get that.
but that's a good one about Daredevil and Punisher, and I was thinking of that
Yeah,
and like, yeah, that was pretty good. But thinking
yeah,
of
and
like,
I think also some of the best villains are when they have nothing to lose. And that's why I think one of my favorite all-time villains is Joker, Heath Ledger. I mean, I know that's a lot of people's,
hmm
but just because he played it so role, and he's just like,
yes,
I got nothing to lose. I'm just, even that scene where like Batman's holding him over, off that ledge in
hmm
that skyscraper, and he's like, "Go ahead, drop me." You
yeah,
really want the people to see you that way? He's like, "Do you really want to be a killer?" And he's like laughing the whole
yeah.
time, and he's
He's like
like,
you're just like me.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I had my fun. I made so many
yeah.
people mad. I took so much money. I
hmm
caused so much havoc." And he's like,
He's like,
"I played my
yeah,
role."
like yeah,
Like
yeah.
that sometimes makes the best villain other than someone who's like pure evil.
Exactly, and like he plays that part so well, and like
Man,
the Joker, like the just everything he does is, and he's hilarious. Like
yeah.
it's like he can crack you up and scare the crap out of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He's like I like him.
Yeah.
Another one that was kind of like that in that Batman series is the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Is like he had that little like that laugh like the hee 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 and like
Mm-hmm.
the body shape he like remind you of a freaking penguin. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
like that was like one of the original villains is like you think of Batman, you think of him, you think of the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
um, and all that. But I always liked the Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
Oh,
I thought
yes.
being able to fly around on that and be able to like I thought when like I think of plasma grenades from Halo is like
Yeah.
some of the things he was using and things of that nature and just like the suit just looks so sick and like how it like
Well,
upgraded
and two,
throughout.
they spawned the Hobgoblin off the Green Goblin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
No, I will say that William Dafoe played that role extremely well.
oh yeah, oh
And
yeah,
Spider-Man,
yeah.
like the way he played that kind of like what's it called when you have two personalities, like dual personalities.
Oh I should know this. I work with this kind of stuff all the
I
time.
know. But anyways, you get
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
he had that dual personality where
hmm
he could play the role of being sane and with people
yeah.
and going to dinner at Thanksgiving and then just that flip the switch and he's just like the crazy
hmm
Green Goblin,
Yeah, yeah. No, I get you. I
But
get you.
yeah.
Bro. No,
So
that makes sense. But kind of a little bit of a different. I'm thinking of a cartoon of
okay.
me growing up as a kid of a superhero, Danny Phantom. He was
Danny Phantom.
he was one of my favorites growing up. Like he was always dealing with crap every episode. Like trying to go to school and he's got to fight some ghosts. He's got to go through that transport. Like always dealing with some crap. Trying to impress the girl. Hang out with his friends. He had a lot on his plate. He had to do his SATs. That's a lot. It's a lot on a lot on people's plate. And so growing up as a kid, and you know what? one of these days I'm gonna have gray hair and I'm gonna look like a silver fox. And having gray hair, growing up as a kid, I was like, dang, I'm gonna get some gray hair. Like I might dye my hair gray. Obviously that didn't happen because that was not gonna, fly. Obviously. But Danny Phantom, he was one of my favorites growing up as a
That's
kid.
interesting of thinking of a show from childhood that you considered a villain.
No, Danny Phantom is a superhero.
Oh, a super. Yeah, I never
Yeah.
watched that show.
Yeah, Danny Phantom is a superhero. No, he's
I
saving
got
the
you. I got you.
man. He saves the
I
day
got you.
every day.
I got you. I got you. I got you. My bad. I never watched the show, so.
You need to.
But that's interesting from childhood. If I had one, I don't know.
The Flying
I didn't grow.
Dutchman.
I didn't grow up with cable either, so I didn't have a lot of access to all these shows.
What about the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob?
I
That's about the
don't.
Flying
I
Dutchman.
don't even want to talk about SpongeBob. I refuse to watch that show.
I'm trying to think of another cartoon. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh well. We'll go to a couple movies then.
Yeah, we can move on.
I'm going to talk about a villain, but also in my mind is a superhero in a way.
All right.
But
What do you got?
hear me out when I say this. Don't cut me off when
All right. I'll hear you out. Let's see what you got.
Jason from Friday the 13th. Okay.
Okay.
I get obviously he's a villain because dude chops up a lot of people throughout movie after movie after movie, terrorizes people, stabs people, kills people, drowns people, etc. But we all watched Freddy versus Jason. And in my mind, Jason won that battle because one, at the end of the movie, obviously, as he's walking out of the lake, he's holding Freddy's head. And yes, Freddy winks. But obviously, if there's no body to me and some dude's hanging by my thing, I'm pretty sure I lost that battle. I'm not going to go home to my parents, to my friends, to my dog and be like, oh, I kicked this guy's butt. But then I got nothing left of my body. He saves the day. Like, everybody was so afraid of Freddy. Like, they were afraid of Jason, but the humans, I mean, I guess Jason is a human as well. But the people on the show or movie, they were like, we need Jason's help. We need Jason to kill Freddy because Freddy's really the real freaking, because you can't really, like, he's in your nightmares. Like, they're like, that's screw. Right. That's like, that's screw. That sucks. Like, that would be horrible to just, you fall asleep and next thing you know, like, you can't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
So to me, are you good?
That's why I'm saying he's a superhero. He saves the day.
So to me, to define whether he's a superhero or not is if you see how Jason acts after that. If he goes back to terrorizing people and cutting people up. If he goes back to his old ways, then he just got like a hard on to kill Freddy. Like, dude, that's my next kill. Like, I'm going to kill the guy that everybody hates, then I'm going to go back to doing what I normally do. True. So, like, did they go back to the lesser of two evils, and then he's just going to go back? Or, so, like, the next episode is where you determine whether he's a superhero or not.
True, because there is a movie coming out, I think, this October about Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to look it up on YouTube. Look up or Google upcoming Jason movies, and there's something coming up in October. And I saw a trailer about it. But again, like villain-wise, Freddy Krueger's probably one of the utmost top villains I can even think of, because he was almost impossible to kill. Like, they had to pull him out of somebody's nightmare, and like that was just the whole ordeal. But to be able to just fall asleep and like die in a nightmare is like you can't control anything what you're doing, and like that's just outrageous. Like, he can basically do anything in your nightmare. Like, your worst fear, he can bring that to life, to
Right,
reality.
right.
So that's crazy.
So there's a Friday the 13th, The Awakening movie coming out 2023, it
Yes,
looks like.
yes, and that probably I think
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So out of the
Yeah,
so
expect October 13th, 2023.
so okay,
So I'm not a horror movie buff. I obviously have seen some of the Jason movies, some of the the Freddy Krueger movies, some of the Halloween movies, but I'm not like an aficionado. I haven't seen them all. So Freddy Krueger is basically like Michael Myers, where you like he's kind of like almost like a devil figure, where he can't die. Correct?
well, Michael Myers.
Because isn't that like Michael Myers? Like he's like part devil or something, so that's why he can take
Oh,
six 357 shots to the chest and not die.
I mean, if you've seen the last movie,
Because it wasn't that like Halloween H2O where he's like he takes a bunch of
like there's in a bunch of movies where he takes a bunch of shots and stuff like
yeah.
that. But in the last movie, you would kind of have a little bit of a different opinion about Michael Myers, just of what happens. But with Freddy, he's more in your dream, your nightmares. Like
Right, that
he's
like I
Michael
just meant like
Myers is
more of
more on
like
the
the a little
outside.
right. But I mean they both like carry that almost immortal gene, right? Where they can't be killed.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, I feel like all those villains in those horror films fill that role. Like even
Okay.
Pennywise and
Yeah.
Michael Myers,
But so,
Jason.
okay, you brought up Pennywise, and like again, not a big horror movie fan, and the new It's came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't seen the original, and so I went out and watched them, and I actually enjoyed those because they were to me they were more thriller movies and not horror
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Like it like explained itself a little more and explained why Pennywise was still around,
Mm-hmm.
and like told more of a story than just this dude kills a bunch of people in their dreams, or this dude just like takes a chainsaw out and just murders a bunch of people. So like that is more interesting to me than just like slasher horror movies.
Okay. So like Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw Massacre and that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
like you see
Jeepers
the movie in the
Creepers.
title, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Jeepers Creepers.
so.
Even though the
Yeah.
last one they really screwed up the whole series. But that when we do a horror podcast, we'll obviously have my sisters on. We'll
I'll
have
suffer
Ashley and
through a
Sarah.
couple movies
We'll
just
have
so I
them
can
on.
talk about it and be a little more knowledgeable.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. But let's skip to something that you are knowledgeable about:
all
Star
right,
Wars. We're gonna talk
okay.
about
Wow, you're bringing up
yeah,
Star Wars.
yeah.
Okay.
So one of my favorite villains on Star Wars, if not my favorite villain, even though I wish he had more screen time, obviously. There's two of them that I actually really liked
All right.
that I wish had a lot more screen time. One would be Darth Maul. One because
Okay.
I think the double like the double edged lightsaber, the skill set to where I feel like he could have really been utilized more and some I'm interested to see if at some point they do like a spin-off and like the upbringing of Darth Maul, like him, like how he became and things of that nature, because that would be pretty freaking cool to be.
So it's hilarious that you bring that up because I could talk for hours about Darth Maul. I promise I won't, but I also read the books.
That he's frozen. Let's see if he comes back. Let's see if he
He
comes.
does not do him justice on how much of a badass he is.
All right, you're gonna have
Like,
to rewind because you froze for a little bit.
well, shit. All right. So I said I love that
Rewind
you
about
brought up
10
Darth
seconds.
Maul.
Okay.
So I could talk about Darth Maul for hours because I read the Star Wars books and there's like a trilogy of Darth Maul books and it
Okay.
explains like how he got involved in the Sith, like how much of a badass he is, like the training he went through, like uh Palpatine like made him go to jail for like a year and figure out how to break out and like didn't help him like mentally how tough he is, how he got involved with the Sith. So episode 1 does not do Darth Maul
No.
justice and he's much more of a badass and like ruthless killer and like Sith than they show. And I hope they come out like when they're coming out with all these like one off like the Solo, You
The
know,
Mandalorian and all that kind of
the
stuff.
Mandalorian, Ahsoka. I wish they would come out with a Darth Maul, either movie
Exactly.
or series, because that dude's a badass.
Exactly. Yeah, and the
All
other
right.
one that I really liked was General Grievous. Was the other villain that I really liked from
Okay.
Star Wars. I feel like he should have got more screen time. I feel like General Grievous, the fact that you can hold 4 lightsabers, and just like he was like the 5.0 upgraded version of a droid. Like he's like
Yeah. And the
the
yeah. And the funny thing is about General Grievous is not a lot of people know that he started out as a human and he was like a revered war general. And I believe, trues like Star Wars nerds might blow me up, but I believe he got injured and he chose to get all those like mechanical droid upgrades.
hmm
Like that was his choice. And I hate how like in if you watch the Clone Wars cartoons or the movies, like how they made him sickly
hmm
because
yeah
he's not really like that in the books and stuff. Like he's more of a like tall, upright, like badass fighter because he used to be like a revered war general who
yes
like chose to get the upgrades and like take that path. So, but yeah, I'll stop there because I could talk about it for hours and I won't bore you with that. But it's funny that you actually brought those up and I didn't. So,
I just that's so because we talked about horror for a minute, and that one's more on
yeah,
your topic and stuff like that because
yeah.
I do like them. Obviously, Darth Vader is everyone, obviously, but he can
It's
speak for
so funny
himself.
because yeah, Darth Vader is the most celebrated, revered mass murderer, and it's
Yeah,
like everybody just like glosses over it, like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and again, if you want to nerd out and read some books about him, and like he is, the movies don't show how ruthless and like evil he actually becomes. Like he is truly an evil
Yeah.
mass murderer.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you
So.
ever seen the movie Spaceballs, but it cracks me up about Star Wars and everything like that.
Mhm.
That movie always cracks me up. Chewie's always one of my favorite Star Wars characters because it's
Yeah.
Chewbacca. But yeah, I thought I'd bring that up just because that would be interesting of the superheroes and villains. Um, but yeah, I think it's just on the superhero aspect. Um,
I don't like the term superhero. You know what I mean? Like you can be a hero without being super. And that's
exactly.
kind of why I was like, like to me, Iron Man's a superhero. Just because he's smarter than everybody else and richer doesn't make it
hmm
like he's still risking his life, especially later on when he gets a wife and kid, and then
hmm
eventually sacrifices his life. Like to me, that's a super act, and he's a hero because he just saved Earth.
hmm
So like you don't necessarily have to have a special power to be a superhero.
Exactly. That's why
But
I would say that's what I'm saying is with that, like we don't think you have to be invincible. I feel like you have to be good, but you have to have some be able to break the rules a little bit. Like you can't be
yeah,
the perfect can't be Captain America. You can't
yeah.
be
And that's why I think the movie in the MCU Civil War, they did that very well when they're all
hmm
sitting like at the table talking about the Accords and like they're split and then obviously they have that big airport fight scene.
hmm
But it's like, half of them are like, no, like we need to get a little dirty. Like we can still be heroes and get a little dirty and we don't have always have to have, a shine on our face and be perfect and do all
hmm
that. Like,
I liked Black Panther.
yeah.
Yeah, Black Panther is one of my
But
favorites. But I agree. I agree. I think that would be. I would say that would probably be the best. Um, but then on the okay, and all the Avenger movies and all the Marvel movies,
mm-hmm.
all of them.
Yep.
Can you give me a top five? Your favorites?
Woo. I mean, I think just I in I'll say no specific order. Um, I think I have to put the original Iron Man in there just because it was kind of like the catalyst, the started everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, I'm getting a list of all the so I don't miss any. So I would say the original Iron Man, just because, like I said, it starts everything off. So that's one. I've got four more to go. I would say, Thor Ragnarok is in there. I like the Civil War, whether it's what is it, Avengers Civil War or whatever, but Civil War. Um, I think Endgame is good, and then probably the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
I meant like characters.
Oh well, shit! You could have stopped me halfway through while
Well, I was
the.
just listening. I was just waiting for you to. You were just going. And I was just
Okay, so
listening.
top five favorite characters from MCU.
Yeah.
Um, that's much easier. Robert Downey as Iron Man, Tom Holland as Spider-Man,
No, I meant like your
Scar.
favorite, like hero, like your heroes, like the actual hero, like Iron Man.
That's what I'm saying.
Not
So,
Robert Downey.
but I
Okay.
said Robert Downey as Iron Man
Okay.
because also to me, like the actor captures the essence of that character.
Okay.
So, okay, fine. Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black
Fireman.
Widow,
Who's Iron Man and Fireman?
Iron Man,
Okay.
Black Widow, Spider-Man. Um, I really like. This is probably some that people will disagree with, but I really like Bucky. You know. And then lastly, Thor.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't know. I'm just.
You
I was.
just
Just, I was just
okay.
asking. I
So
mean,
what's your
I would
so
say.
what's your favorite superhero franchise then?
I mean, from the Marvel characters, I do like Iron Man. I do like the Hulk. I do like Thor. I like Rocket. Um,
Rocket. If I had to take someone out, I'd take out Rocky and put Rocket in. But I
yeah.
like Rocky. Or not Rocky. Bucky.
I like Groot. Um, um,
There's so many. It's hard.
yeah, and I do like Spider Man. You know, like Gamora.
Gamora's a badass too.
Yeah, she is badass. Damn, it's hard. I do like Black
I tried to
Widow.
get Sarah to go as Gamora for Halloween and she wouldn't. I wanted to go as Star Lord and she goes Gamora.
I like Doctor Strange. Uh,
Really?
I,
I go back and forth on him.
just because of his powers.
I mean, the powers are cool, but he's
Yeah.
kind of like a little,
It reminds
like a
me
little.
of. I'm going blank. You know, as soon as I say this, I don't. Do you like Mortal Kombat?
I mean, I've played it a long time, but who are you trying to think of?
I'm looking it up right now.
Me too. Uh,
Raiden.
Mortal. Oh yeah, yeah,
He
I see
reminds
that.
me of Raiden from Mortal Kombat. Um,
I can see that.
but yeah, I like that. So, Blade.
Okay. Like the entire franchise, the
Just the
character, like.
character, superhero, villain. What's his franchise? What would you label him? Blade.
See, that's the thing. I
I
don't
liked the Blade movies growing up.
see again. Like I think that's a character that just falls in that middle line. Like he
I
he's
like
not a
more of the.
hero or a villain, but he leans more towards the darkness or like the villain side. But he's also gonna like
He's saving the world from
right. He's not
vampires.
just out to wreak havoc or just kill people. Like yeah, that's it's almost like that's like a side effect of of the way he's a
So
hero, but.
I feel like my taste of like my heroes are like Deadpool and Blade,
Yeah,
Batman,
yeah,
like kind of have that dark side to them, and things that don't just play
yeah,
by the
yeah.
rules. Kind of have like that wild side to them. I don't. I would say it's probably my.
Well, and that, I mean, to go back to it, that's part of the reason, especially in the Dark Knight trilogy, why I like Batman so much.
Hmm?
Is because he is the
Oh
hero.
yeah.
Then he has to make that tough decision of, am I the hero or do I need to be the villain that everybody needs to see, but still act like a hero? And then he struggles with that coming back, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah, I think Blade falls, I mean, a hero, but a dark hero, you know.
I would think so. I think so.
It's almost kind of after in the MCU universe, Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner's character,
Hmm.
where he goes on that tear where he's just tearing people up,
Exactly.
until finally he's like, well, I'm doing the right thing, like these people you know, and then he finally comes around and he's like, yeah, I'm probably shouldn't just run all over the world just murdering people, but like he has that dark side to him. He's like,
Mhm.
in his mind, he's doing the right thing until they get to him and be like, look, this is not how you're going to solve the issue. There's bigger issues that we need to figure out.
Exactly. Exactly. So
I don't know. What else you got? Is that it?
that's it for me. That's it
What
for
about,
me.
ooh, I've got one really quick. John Wick,
Okay.
hero villain, or just one man show out for himself.
I think he's a hero. I think I relate him to like Liam Neeson and the Taken videos. I think of
Yeah.
Denzel
Okay.
and the Equalizers. I kind
Yep.
of compare him to all those, like Ben Affleck and The Accountant. I think of
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Matt. Yeah. What Matt Damon in the Bourne movies?
Yep. I think
Yeah.
is it. I feel like in all those movies, again,
I I
it's
feel like they always have an agenda for themselves that are selfish, but then like there's a bigger thing that comes up that
mhm.
they have to like figure out, like, how do I still get what I need and then still fix this problem?
No, I believe that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. So I believe that. Do you have anything else you want to bring up on this one, or
No, I think that's it. I was just looking at my notes and I just
okay?
saw it. So
No, I think that's good for today. So like I said, we're getting our platforms up and running. Follow us on Facebook, but subscribe, like us on YouTube at Higginsanity Podcast and live stream. We also have a Twitter account out. Dan, you want to lighten the crowd on that one?
um the Twitter account is just Dan Sanity, I think. I'll have to look it up, but I think it's just under Dan Sanity. But we do have an email, which may be even more important at this point because just be patient with us. We've both done podcasts before, but we're still, just getting into the video portion of it and all this stuff. And we want your ideas. We want to talk about what you want to hear. So our email is the number one dansanity@gmail.com. So that's the number one dansanity@gmail.com. Give us your feedback. Give us ideas. Because I mean, we have our own, but if it's not what you want to hear, then why are we going to talk about it? So just reach out to us. The Wing Challenge is coming soon. I have officially lost like 3 weeks ago in the tournament challenge because it just got blown up. So that'll be coming, and I think we're going to release a special video of just that and kind of clip some stuff together and actually so you can see them putting actual hot sauce on it and what it is. Hopefully, we can get together and do that in person, maybe as early as this Friday, but we'll see. So we've got some things coming. Like I said, just be patient with us. We're getting it. We're getting more regular, so we're posting on a weekly basis and getting into the grind of things. So good things to come.
Exactly, exactly. And we will get our merchandise up and running. We'll have T-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, blankets, dog bandanas, car decals, Anything else? Am I forgetting stuff? I think we said beer
I don't. If you
glasses.
have any ideas, let us know. I mean, obviously, merch is a big step, so we're gonna see how expensive it is to start off and what the top requests are. So if you do have requests, we're gonna, we don't want to overstep, but like, what would you be most interested in? Again, email us, let us know, so we can kind of start at a basis and just grow and grow and grow. Other than that, I think that's it.
Thank you.
I mean.
Exactly. Well,
The biggest thing is we want to do this every week. We want to have fun. Eventually, we'll get guests involved, and we want to just, like I said, if you guys email us with ideas, we want to get you guys involved too. Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. See you next week.
Here's the.